Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Tuesday Talk. Come on in. Come on in. Let me see what we're doing with the comments. Come on in. We just got a notification. We are live on my YouTube channel, on the Shrine of Sekhmet YouTube channel. We are live. Okay. All righty. I have a couple devices. I'm looking at a few different things so I can stay on track with what is going on. I'm waiting for a few people to come in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. You know, there are times when you hear people who are in the Kemetic spirituality, who are in the Kemetic practice, who say that there's power in this and power in that. And, you know, a lot of us either are still in the church or have family members still in the church, and they say there's power in prayer. And, you know, living in a very Western dominated and oriented world, we might not always understand what that power is, especially if it's not something that is tangible or something that we can sense with one of the 5 objective senses that we were taught we had, like that we only have those senses. So in speaking with Seba and Fudishi on this topic, you know, I got a better understanding of what that power is. And I don't know if any of you have gone to his shop and seen his shrine, and you sit down in it. I'm going to leave a little bit to the imagination so that when you get a chance to see it, it won't spoil everything. But at the same time, talking about this topic and talking about the power that's in the Medu Netcher, I knew that this had to be a Tuesday talk, because we really do have to understand what our ancestors used and how our ancestors were able to do the things that they did, you know? So I'm still waiting for some people to come in. Everyone, if you can, send a text message to someone, a friend, a family member, someone in the shrine, people who are in the Kemetic space, and also who practice different forms of African spirituality, to know that we have started our Tuesday talk, as we do every week from 8 to 9:30 on Tuesdays. So I'm just waiting for a couple more people to come in here. When you come in, please let us know where you are coming in from, where you're located at this time, which city you're in. We're going to come on in. Come on in. My dog is trying to come downstairs. Just let her come downstairs. Just let her, if she doesn't want to come downstairs, she doesn't have to. Okay, sorry about that. As you can see, I'm actually in my house live. So things go on at that time. So Fudishi, do you want to just go on? We don't have people here yet. Do you want to continue and have them join in when they join in?
I'm fine.
Okay, great. So I have Seba Fudishi here, and he's going to be able to explain some of the power that is in the Medu Netcher. One of the first things that I feel like I have to address, because sometimes people ask, or they say that the Medu Netcher has never been deciphered. And then when you ask those people, yeah, it's kind of funny. And then when you ask those people, what makes you say that the Medu Netcher has not ever been deciphered? Who told you that, and what proof did they have? And there's never any proof. At least I haven't gotten any, even when they say straight to my face it's not been deciphered. But they haven't disproven anything. They don't have new information. They don't have any sources cited, and I just, you just have to dismiss that. So before we get into,
and usually they don't know any other language other than English.
Other than English, which is one of the most basic languages ever spoken. I speak some Spanish, and I can tell, even with the little Spanish that I know, that English is not a sophisticated language in comparison to other languages that have different sounds and different intonations, and use different parts of the head and the skull and the nasal passages in the throat. So they have some nerve. So Mfudishi has just dropped off from just a connection, and he is right back here. I'm going to add him back to the stage.
Okay. Yeah, I just got bumped off. I don't know what happened.
But you know what? You're clearer now than you were before. So, okay. Yeah. So basically, I was just saying, English is a pretty, basic language, and other languages have tones, and you can speak, you use all of your head to make sounds, and your throat and things of that nature. So can you start off by giving us a little history on how the Medu Netcher was deciphered, how we know for sure that it was deciphered, and then from there, how linguists or whomever were able to understand all the grammar and the different symbols of the Medu Netcher to be able to kind of piece things back together based on the evidence that they had?
Yes, well, first of all, okay, so the Medu Netcher, we have to understand, is even older than ancient Kemet. So it was used in ancient Kosh before Kemet even came into existence. Mm-hmm. And so Kemet came into existence actually full-blown almost. They came in at their height. Usually a country starts out low and they start progressing, like you see most European countries or even America. You start out, in the wilderness, as pioneers, and then eventually you get more. Well, Kemet started out building pyramids. They started out with temples. They started out with the Medu Netcher already intact. Okay, so that means that it was veggie backing on top of another great, powerful Kemetic or African empire. So that's the first thing I want to let people know. The pyramids are thousands of years old. Most of them were even there before Kemet came into existence. There's something called the Catskill incense burner, and I don't know. Can you Can you turn it over so I can put my PowerPoint up and show people?
Oh no, I'll try.
No, gotta mess things up. Okay, no, I'll just talk about it. Okay. Well, anyhow, there's the Catskill incense burner. That's about 500 years before Kemet came into existence. Mm-hmm. This is before Narmer united Upper and Lower Kemet. And in the Catskill incense burner, it shows the king sitting on his throne, right? It shows him with the pharaonic beard and the white crown. He's holding an Nkaka in his hand. And over to the side, you see Heru on top of a Serek of a palace. This is 500 years before Kemet, in ancient Kosh, which people will call Nubia, which is present-day Sudan. So it's letting you know that all the paraphernalia, you see Heru and Maketi, where they have the black lion, which is called Pinmak in ancient Kosh. You see the boats that navigate the Nile, and also ships that navigate the oceans. This is 500 years before Kemet. Now remember, there is no Greece, there is no Rome, there is no great civilization in all of Europe or Asia at this time. This is before the Persian Empire or Syrian Empire. This is happening in Kemet. So we're talking about before 4000 BCE. This is already a civilization with the 42 laws of Ma'at, Ma'at is already reigned, and Netcheru are already in existence. In fact, at this particular time, the high Netcher is Kanum, Asatet, and Shasset. They're already established. Ptah, the creative spark of the universe. Okay, so we get an idea that this, what people used to think was sacred artwork on top of the bowls and stuff like that, was actually also writing. So what we also think as artwork was actually writing. Medu Netcher imitates nature. So in order to understand Medu Netcher at its highest point, you need to be a keen observer of nature, because there's more bird symbols than any other symbols in the Medu Netcher. Okay, you see the bird symbols, because you got desert on both sides. The Happy River, the Happy Itiru, which we call the Nile River today, the longest river in the world, is running through the desert. And so the only source of water is right there. So birds from hundreds of miles all flock there. So it was a bird paradise. And so the priests would observe the birds. They would write the characteristics of each bird and things of that nature. So they began to understand the nature of each bird. So when they started their writing system, they would even use these animals, the birds and the animals around them, to represent certain ideas that they understood in nature. I call this symptomatic thinking versus symbolic thinking. So I just got finished saying, in that Quastil incense burner, they had a picture of Haru, the great falcon, the pelican falcon, sitting on top of a building, which would be the White House, the temple. Now, why would they use the pelican falcon? Because they understood that this particular falcon, this bird, was the fastest creature on the planet. When he's swooping down 280 miles per hour on his prey. He flies higher than any birds. He can fly above the clouds. He has the keenest eyesight. He can see 2 miles ahead of himself. He can go 20 meters under the water and catch a fish in his talons. You can't run from him. You can't hide from him. And so this was a great symbol of power. You understand? So because we understood nature, we said, well, we want the king to be represented like that. So they used this particular falcon, you know. They had a pintail duck. I wish I could show you the picture, but anyhow, you know what the pintail duck kind of looks like. Well, the pintail duck was the word for sun or sat, sa or sat. Sat is daughter, that's with the T ending, and sa was son. So the average layperson would say, well, why would a duck be called a son or a daughter? It's because if you look at the little ducklings following the pintail duck, they do everything that the duck does. They imitate the mother until they become the mother. They imitate the father till they become that. They do everything. So the Kemetu would look, the people would say, wow, I wish my son and daughter would follow me like that and learn everything that I do and don't question me. Just do what I say, you know. So because the little ducklings were so obedient to their parents, they used the duck as a symbol for son and daughter because they wanted them to be obedient to their parents. And tremendous, just studying nature, you know. So every symbol, Kepler, to come into being, is a dung beetle. They would watch the dung beetle in nature. Now, one of my homelands is Tanzania, East Africa, and we have the Serengeti Plains there, which is one of the largest grasslands in the world. And you have the great migration of animals, thousands of wildebeest, thousands of zebras, thousands of different animals, buffalo, zebras, giraffes, and they follow this great migration every year. And during this time, you get a chance to see the power of the great hunters, the lions, the cheetahs, the leopards, as they're trying to get their game. So you see the survival mechanism. But now you see herds of elephants. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen an elephant turd, but it's pretty big. Within 2 hours, it's gone.
The elephant
Literally
food?
thousands of dung beetles
Oh,
verge on it. They take the dung and roll it into small little balls,
right.
roll it back, dig a hole. When they dig a hole in the ground, that's called irrigation, because the water will come in the hole. But they take the dung and they bring it down in there. That's called fertilization. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you're always rolling the dung towards the light. So that was like rolling towards knowledge, wisdom, right? So they would show the dung beetle moving towards light, the sun, Ra, and then the babies would eat them way out through the dung because there's nothing but the grass and stuff that the elephant ate. The elephant is a vegetarian, so it's all just grass and stuff. And the little larvas would eat their way out, and they can fly. When they come out, they're ready. They almost full grown. They can fly away. So this was coming into being, transformation. So it went from the larva and the stage, ate its way through, and then they looked the habits of the dung beetle. He helped the ecosystem. So I talked about this great migration. So if you got 1,000 wildebeest, 1,000 zebra, if they're all eating, you know what they all doing. Okay, when it goes in, it's gonna come out.
Gotta come out.
In the morning, you can walk in the field and go, fresh air, because the dung beetle has already cleansed everything.
Right, right.
And so you see this recycling. So now the people are watching this, so they use these symbols to represent certain things in their society. And even Egyptologists, they don't, even when they teach you hieroglyphics, they don't want you to really know the power in the language. They don't want you to speak it. They don't want you going, I'm in Ra, Nasut nature, Ra, Nebenong. They don't want none of that. They just want you to translate it to English or translate it to French, translate it to the German. They don't want you saying those sacred sounds. Because their blood starts to turn. Oh no, they're gonna get their ancestral memory back. That's why they outlawed the drum certain places, because some people hear the drum, they almost go into trance. Ancestral memories start coming back. Because remember, you are your ancestors. They're not someplace in a cemetery. They're not someplace buried. They're here with you. They're in your DNA. So everything that they knew, you have the ability to know. And they don't want to evoke. Yeah, they don't want to evoke that spirit.
So, evoking the spirit. I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut on Saybrook Street. Saybrook Street, back in the early 80s and early 90s, was the Puerto Rican part of town. It still is. There's more more diverse Latinos, but back then it was majority Puerto Rican. And I just remember hearing salsa. So what about salsa made me stop? It was the drum. It was the drums that was in it. And I said, I don't know what word they're using to call the drum, meaning what word in Spanish. I don't know which word they're using, but that's the African drum, and I know it when I hear it. And it pulls you out of where you are and brings you back to a certain, like you said, ancestral memory, a certain ancestral spot, a certain ancestral place. And whenever I hear, one of the reasons I like to go to events that are African centered is because I know they're gonna have some drummers there, and they're gonna have some drums, and we're gonna feel like beating that rhythm. And when you speak the Medu Netcher, it is not a flat European language. It has resonance. And that's when I first started hearing people speak it, I don't know, you hear vibrations, like literal vibrations. And we all know different vibrations do different things for the body. So it just, you can kind of feel the power in the Medu Netcher, regardless of even if you don't even know what's happening to you or what's going on. And when you said that, it made me think about how the first time I heard the African drums and salsa music, and I felt an interconnection, like a diasporan interconnection. So I just had to jump in and say that.
Oh yeah. And so many of this, and they don't want you to evoke that sacred spiritual sound, sacred energy. They don't want to revoke that inside of you. So they outlaw certain things to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Yep. Mhm.
And then they make us ashamed of our own stuff so that we won't even do it, even when they're not around, you know. But the Medu Netcher is so powerful. I need you to understand. So, and even Egyptologists today, they know the word just like they can read the glyphs, just like I can read the glyphs. They know that the ancient name of of ancient Egypt was called Kemet. So what those of us who can read it, they say, okay, it means Kemet, but it means the black land, not the black people. But you see, we know the determinative for land is Ta, right? But they got a city for community. They don't got Ta for land. They say the black community. So if you say you live in the black community, you ain't talking about the land, you know. But this is the type of stuff they try to wool over you. But because we can read the glyphs now we don't need somebody to translate it for us. You know, we can read it. Like Egypt is a Greek word. It's nobody in ancient time wouldn't even know. Even the word Pharaoh, that's a Greek word.
Yep.
We called our kings the Nasut Biti, the ruler of Upper and Lower Kemet, the black community. You know, it was very clear. So that's why it's important for us to read the glyphs. We had other names too, like Tameri, Ta Netcher. Tameri means the beloved land. That's the affection we have for our land. You know, we also call it Semitawi, the United Two Lands, because Kemet was broken into Upper Kemet and Lower Kemet. And Upper Kemet was south. Lower Kemet is north, because we're upside down, inside out, and backwards. So they get the stuff all switched around. The Happy River, the Happy Itiru, flows down north from up south. There are 6 cataracts in the Happy Itiru. The first one is all the way in Sudan, where Khartoum is, where the blue and the white Nile meet. Right after that is the first cataract. A cataract is a natural obstruction of energy. So if you have a cataract in your eye, you can't see because something is obstructing the energy. So a cataract in the water is like a dam, a waterfall, something that's that interferes with the natural flow of energy. So you can't navigate it with a boat.
Right.
So there's 6 major cataracts. Now let me show you why they don't want you reading them to Medu Netcher. So the first cataract is in Sudan, would be ancient Kush. The second cataract is in Kush. The third cataract is in Kush. The fourth cataract is in Kush. The fifth cataract is in Kush. Only the 6th cataract, the last one, is in Kemet. Right after the border, when you where the high dam is now, the cataract is right there where the high dam is. That's the 6th cataract, which means it's the last cataract. But Europeans coming into Africa backwards against the current, the first cataract they encountered was the 6th, and they call it the first. So today we're calling it the first. That's backwards. Okay, they didn't know at the beginning, but you know now. Why are you still calling it the first cataract when it's the 6th cataract? You see, this shows you that even when they got the information, they don't want you to know it. Because they don't want you to understand that the of Hapi comes from the interior of Africa. The power of the Hapi River comes from the interior of Africa. And the glyphs simply show this. They show there's Hapi of the north and Hapi of the south, Rashut and Nehet. You know, they show you this, you know, in the glyphs. So that's why they don't want you reading the glyphs. Even the word, they call our language hieroglyphics, which is Greek, meaning the sacred writing, like there's some writing that's not sacred. Okay? No. We call ours the Medu Netcher. And I do have
Baba, what are you looking for?
Let me get it. Excuse me for 1 second. I have a whiteboard where I can write some Medu Netcher. Let me go get a marker for me. Okay.
All right, no problem.
So just talk to the people. Let me get a marker.
Okay. All right, cool. So obviously what Seba said, he's about to go get a whiteboard so that he can write some stuff on the board so we can see some of the Medu Netcher. And, there is, unfortunately, or fortunately, one of the things that we know when certain information is held from us or gate kept from us, then we know that that's powerful information, transformative information. And I don't even just mean in this particular setting here, what we're talking about right now. Usually when people gatekeep, it's because they want to keep some kind of advantage. They don't want you to know what they know, so they can do whatever they want to do and just kind of control the information. So if someone knows that something is backwards and inaccurate, then you would think that they would want to fix that. But to continue to use this in a backwards way, it's just to continue ISFET. It's just to continue chaos. It's just to continue misinformation and to really not have things, come through that are true and accurate. So then it begs the question, well, what are you trying to hide? Okay. So without being a total 100% conspiracy theorist, but sometimes we have to take a look at who are always the players of ISFET and trying to cause or maintain confusion and misunderstanding, So that alone should let you know that there is some power in the Medu Netcher because they're trying to keep the essence of it away from us. Did you find the whiteboard, Baba?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So I know we were talking it, but I want people to be able to visually see it.
All right, I'm going to put.
Okay, so this is the word Medu Netcher. Medu Netcher, but it's written this way. We have something in the Medu Netcher called honorific ordering, and that is words that are divine and sacred and have spiritual high meaning. We say first, but we write it last. It would be like you bringing your mother into the house. You allow her to step up and go through the door first, and you open the door for her. And you open the car door for them. So this is an African etiquette. So it's in our language. European and Asian languages don't do that. We have respect for certain words. So the word Netcher means divinity. Medu is the word for words. But now watch. Look at the symbol they chose for words. It's a walking stick of an elder. So this, in other words, this is like wise words of an elder of divinity. And that's what we call the Medu Netcher. Now, wise words of an elder of divinity is not the same as hieroglyphics. So, if they got you doing that, you see how they got you going. So
I have to agree with that one, Baba. I said I got to jump in and say I agree with that. If the divine words of an elder is not the same as hieroglyphics.
Let me just give them a quick example too of some symbols. And watch this here. This is the letter T in the Medu Netcher, which is a loaf of bread. It also represents the feminine energy because the women were the bakers of the bread. So when they wanted to make something feminine, they put a T, that loaf of bread, behind it. Now watch, this is really going to kind of blow you away. Look at this next symbol. It's a plow to cultivate the land. It's pronounced mer. It's the word for love or like or to cultivate because love to them was cultivation. So I know that's strange in the European vernacular, but love meant to cultivate something that I cherished. So if I'm a farmer, I have to prepare the land before I can plant the seed. So I want to take you through this cycle here. Now you're thinking that it's plow. Now to love. Okay, so I'm a farmer. The first thing I want to do is prepare the soil. The second thing I want to do is to dig the soil up to prepare it, and then I'll put the seed in. That will be equivalent of the male first scouting out the right female, and the female scouting out the right male. Then I have to talk to them, the hunt, I got to talk to them, the foreplay. Hey, baby, blah, blah. I think me and you should be together. And I think we can make a great crop, a great family. Now I plant the seed. We have sex. I plant the seed. That's the farmer now planting it. He's already got the land right now. He did his trap. He did his talk. He got the land right. Now he's ready to plant the seeds. But now once he plants the seeds, it's not over. It's not zam, bam, thank you, ma'am, I'm out and waiting for the crop. No, now I got to water it. I got to weed it. I got to nurture it. That's what has to happen in a relationship. So now that I plant the seed, I have to be there. I have to cultivate. I have to make the conditions right. I water, I cultivate, I take care of, I protect. Now when it comes up, again, I get the weeds out. Okay, and all of that. Now the child is forward, is coming up. Now once the child comes, the nurturing starts all over again. I might have to pick his friends. I got to get rid of these little bad guys. These are the weeds until it could grow up. And so it becomes a crop. It becomes the end product. If I want the correct fruit, the correct yield, I have to cultivate it, nurture it, take care of it. That's love. So I want you to understand. So I know that's real abstract in the European, Asiatic vernacular, but to the African, to love was to cultivate a relationship. Trying to show you how powerful the Medu Netcher. This is why they don't want you learning this. This is ridiculous. We don't want you learning stuff like that. We at the shrine of Jehuti Haru Nebhu, we developed our own set of cards. We did an inventory. Everything that we need, we should be able to produce. So we produce our own flashcards for the Medu Netcher. So you have the white flag, the symbolic of divinity, the Netcher, the creator, the creative spark of energy. We looked at air, shu, this air, this atmosphere all around us as where consciousness is coming from. Once you stop that air, consciousness stops. I'll say that again. I know that might have shot past some people. If I put a Hupagani headlock on you and cut your air off, you faint first. You pass out. You don't die right away. You just pass out because I cut your oxygen. I cut your air off, which is symbolic of the consciousness, and you pass out. You can no longer sustain yourself. And if I keep that long enough, you become an ancestor. Okay, so this connection. Now you can't see it, so we put up a white flag so that you can see the flag flowing. So I know the air is there, it's visible. So a lot of symbols will be representing something you can't see. You understand? Here's a symbol here. You can see that. This represents to fight, to guard, to protect. And it's a set of arms holding an axe and a shield. It could have been a sword and a shield, like that. Here's another one that, if you don't understand the culture, there was no way you would be able to understand that. This is the oar of like a boat. It's an oar. It's called kadru. So you've heard people say ma'a kadru, true of voice. So kadru represent voice because it's something sacred. This is the oar that propels you from one place to another. Like sound is going from one place to everything is in vibration. And so there's an invisible arc holding all the Netcheru in it. And they believe that an oar is propelling it through the heavens, just like a boat is propelled through the water. And so Karu, voice. And you need someone to represent you. You need someone to be able to. Remember, I said the king was called Nasut Biti. So there's the B to represent Biti. And that was like the land of the honey. Honey is one of the foods that can't go bad. It's one of the oldest sacred foods that we know of. Honey can be used as medicine. Honey can be used as food. In fact, if you had a wound and you put raw honey on it or like that, it'll stop it from getting infected and help the healing process. So honey, we were the first people to cultivate honey and to import and export it from interior of Africa and then export it outside. We could tell what honey we wanted. We had barges, but only one thing on it. So if we wanted barley honey, we only had barley on that barge, and the bees ate the barley, and so we know we had barley honey. We can dictate the type of honey we want. This is the symbol that I talked about that would come behind the word Kemet. And this symbol means community, town, or city. So if you have Kemet, which means black, and you got this is the determinative, that's not the black land, it's the black community. Those crossroads is where civilization is, and that's where commerce is taking place. Commerce is taking place there. So again, we know the Medu Netcher, we can read it. This is just a symbol Ka, which means 1,000. It's a determinative for a numerical principle, 1,000. I don't know if you've ever all been in a big tulip field. It's just like there's thousands of them. And so the Kemetu looked at this abundance when they saw this in the fields, and they said, we'll use this symbol for 1,000 because we're looking out into the multitude of fields of the tulips just growing. And a lot of times you see statues on top of a symbol like this. And this symbol is pronounced Ma'a, and it means the truth. It means that we are, if you see Ptah standing on top of something like this, it means we are bringing forth the truth. The truth. The word Hotep that everybody's familiar with. It's an offering table with like bread and water. An offering table. And it means to offer satisfaction, which is loosely translated into peace. So when I go, Em Hotep, I come to offer you satisfaction. I come to offer you peace. The Ankh, the key of life, is symbolic of the male, the female, the Holy Trinity, the male, the female, and the child. And its left side is male, right side is female. And so all people come through this way. This was one of the most sacred symbols in ancient Kemet, life. The Christian cross later will come out of that, but they took the woman out and just got a small penis on top. Kepler, I talked about the dung beetle to come forth, transformation. I already explained that. Heka, to lead or to rule or to guide. This is the staff of a shepherd who's leading his flock. And so the king would carry something like this, saying that I can lead you and I can guide you and protect you. See, so all the symbols are symbols that would be just used in the society. This is a symbol for papyrus, a roll or a book. It's a sheet of papyrus paper, roll up, and then they tie a string around it, and that would be a book. And so a library would have these cubby holes in it, and you just have the scrolls wrapped up, pushed inside. And so Majat, the word Majat, is instead of saying papyrus or scroll or book. There's the word Geb, which is libation. Okay, this is pouring of libation, refreshing, cleansing. Nubu, the word for gold. We're some of the first people to listen. We were using gold before Europeans and Asiatics even knew that it was a precious metal. They didn't even know what it was. And there's very little gold in Europe and just throughout China. So most of the gold in the world comes from Africa. And we were using the sacred gold, symbol of the Netcher, of the king and the Netcher, because gold doesn't tarnish. So we were already using gold. In fact, the way we use gold was so dynamic. When they looked at Tutankhamun's tomb and some of his jewelry, they said that an alien had to do that because there's no way they could have had the technology to do that. That's how skilled we were. The was scepter, again, it represents power and dominion because they understood the power of the predator animals like the jackal, like the lion, like the cheetah, like the panther. The panther is one of the most efficient hunters in the world. He can dive in the water into the crocodile. That's how powerful he is. He can crush his head. Okay. Watch this here. This is symbol saber, and it means a star. But saber also means a teacher. It also meant another dimension. Each star represents another dimension. So a teacher, a saber, is supposed to open up your mind to multi-dimensions, just like the stars. The forehead of a lion in his front. This meant a chief or a local mayor or a governor or some official, because the lion is official. He's powerful. I'm just trying to give you just this word, what? That means road or pathway. That's a roadway with hedges on both sides. So beautification is not just make a path. Let's have a path and let's put some flowers and some hedges on both sides. Adornment, beautification. This is ancient Kemet 4,000 years ago, y'all. All right. I'm just trying to just give y'all just some idea of symbols and stuff like that. And so you memorize these flashcards, and this is how. Now, this one is really deep. I want to show this here one. This is called Hemet. Him. It's a pool of water or well of water. So your deep well of water is your woman. Now, let me say this again. Kemet is in the desert on both sides. So if you start out with the desert and you ain't got no water, you're in bad shape. So they were saying your woman is your deep well of water. So I'm trying to show you this affection we got. In Europe or Asia, women didn't have any rights, no respect. White women right now are getting the most respect and rights they've had since they've been on the planet Earth. Black women have always been exalted. We've been rulers of nations and kings. We've been warriors. We've done everything.
Oh no. Infodishi's connection fell off. I'm sure he'll be right back, so please don't go anywhere. So I just want to say that this is, you know, a lesson in showing you how there's power in words. And like I said before, kind of at the beginning, with English, we don't have a whole lot of power in our words. And when Infodishi fully gets back, I'm going to ask him about the cards. Seba, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm back.
Seba, we can't hear you.
Am I muted?
Okay, he's still working on the audio.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Let me make sure I don't have anything. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Just hold tight. We're sorry for the technical difficulties.
You want me to go out and come back in?
Seba Infodishi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
I can't hear him.
I can't hear. Can you hear me?
We'll see. I just texted him. We'll see if he can hear me.
I can hear you. Apparently, you can't hear me. I don't know what it is.
Okay, I see some movement. I'm going to put myself backstage, and maybe that'll help it make it easier for Seba to speak and be seen.
Hotep, can you hear me? Hotep Mfundishi.
Seba, can you reboot?
Yeah, you want me to go out and come back in? Okay.
I'm gonna text you to reboot.
Okay. I'll reboot.
Oh no, he dropped off again. Well, we will see when he comes back what he can do. If he can reboot, hopefully he's doing that right now. Sema JLMBA. Is this son Jason? Let's cross our fingers.
Can you hear me now? Can you
I
hear
don't know what
me?
happened. We heard you before.
No sound?
Hmm.
You can't hear my voice?
We can't hear you.
When I was backstage, it said my voice, I saw the meter going up and down. I try to reboot one more time.
Oh, he's gone again. Oh no. Oh, you heard him? Well, let me see. I'm going to have to troubleshoot this. I'm going to have to spend the whole next week troubleshooting this because this is the second week in a row that it's just been crazy.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Oh, can we hear you?
You can hear me?
I can't hear you.
It said when I was coming in, my voice was registered.
Sema JLMBA. Can you hear?
It must be a switch. It must be a switch that you can control, because outside it said I saw my voice going up and down.
Looks like I'm gonna have to do what I did the other time. Infudishi, you can go ahead. They can hear you, but they can't hear me. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So go ahead.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So again, I'm trying to show you the power of the Medu Netcher and why they don't want you to learn this, because it's so dynamic and it's very, and even sometimes when they tell you the glyph, they give you the wrong concept of the glyph. Because they don't want you to clearly understand the power behind the glyph. And every symbol was a symbol that you can see in nature. There's the lion, there's the Ru symbol of a lion. It's the L in the alphabet, or it could be a biliteral, it could be Ru. But every symbol is a symbol that can be used in nature. Now here's something that would be strange to you. This is your rib cage. So when you laugh, your ribs expand. So this was for the word for joy, to expand the ribs, was symbolic of the word, for like joy or things of that nature. So all these symbols are sacred symbols that can be found in joy. Now here, wind, this simply means to exist, right? To energy, to exist. Now, rabbits multiply quickly, and the desert hare can survive with almost nothing. And so they're saying, oh, wow, even in the desert, it can exist and multiply and things of that nature. So again, the meanings of words had to do with you understanding nature and understanding how nature operates. So again, we want to make sure, watch this here word, wab, to purify. Here, this is where the Muslims got the concept of washing your feet and your hands and cleaning your nose, because with the cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay, so that concept comes from ancient Kemet, and so the Wa priest is the priest of purification. His job was to keep the temple clean, and sometimes he had to wash 3, 4, 5 times a day, and he would shave all the hair off his face, so we couldn't have a bald head and a beard. He had to have no hair on his face, under his arms, his private area, his arms, his legs would be shaven, because he was the purification priest, and hair collects lint. So a Wab priest. So you can see that concept was spread all around the world, where the priests, you would see them with the bald heads. They got that from Kemet. Okay, so Kemet was the first one to introduce that concept. And again, because of the writing, we can see it. They wrote it on the walls. It became very clear. And so the Medu Netcher, extremely powerful, y'all. And they don't want you. I teach a Medu Netcher masterclass. I teach a beginner, and then intermediate, and then an advanced class. So right now I have a beginner and an intermediate class going on simultaneously. Let me just tell you the last assignment they got. I talked about all the symbols of birds. Well, the last assignment I gave my beginner students 10 birds that were used in ancient Kemet. Now they got to go look up. I gave them symbolically, I showed them a drawing of the bird. Then I said, you got to go find 10 bullets for each bird. Show me the characteristics. Show me its eating habits, its migration habits, its mating habits, its habitat. So they look up all these things of the birds. Now they begin to understand the birds the way our ancestors understood the bird. This is symptomatic thinking versus just symbolic thinking. Symptomatic is I know it, I can prove it, it's inert, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt. Nobody told me, I experienced it. Okay, this is symptomatic thinking. Education should be symptomatic, not symbolic. Not Simon says do this, do that, do that. No, this is that because of, and you've developed a scientific methodology of proving it, and then you have a proof, and now it's a fact. Well, that's what was done in ancient Kemet. We get that theory from ancient Kemet. So my advanced intermediate students look up 25 different birds. Remember, I said there was more bird symbols than any other symbol in the Medu Netcher because of the plentifulness of the birds coming there for the water, So all the symbols that you would see there in nature, the lion is there. You'll see the high priest wore the cheetah or the leopard skin because a leopard is one of the wisest and most efficient hunters. He don't fight the lion because he's smart. He's an efficient hunter. But he can hunt in water. He can hunt in the desert. He can hunt in the rainforest. He can hunt in the jungle. The lion doesn't go in the jungle. The lion stays in the savannah. He's the king there. I know some of you've heard the lion is the king of the jungle. That's some European nonsense. The lion ain't even in the jungle. The king of the tropical rainforest is the gorilla. And he will gorilla slam dunk a lion, okay? So you got to stop listening to the Wazungu. You got to study yourself. Your culture is your medicine. Study your culture and it will lead you towards the truth. It will keep you well because your culture, you have cultural foods, the foods that naturally grow from your habitat where you come from. You got cultural rituals that you do to keep you in tune with nature. By understanding your culture, you understand your planting season, your harvest season. You understand when the rainy season doing that. Happens during the dry season. In some places they have a Sahel windy season. So by understanding nature, you know how to survive. And the Medu Netcher is one of the best examples of understanding nature. Now, once those students do that report, now it's just not like Mfundisi said a falcon or the owl represents this. They studied it. They got 10 bullets on the owl. And they realized the owl is one of the only creatures that can turn his head around 360 degrees. That when he flies, is silent. He's a night predator. He hunts at night. So his vision is unbelievable and his ears is even keener. And so if a twig moves, the owl is on you. So he's a night hunter. if some of you have ever been sometimes like at a train station or places where pigeons would come and poop all over the place, they will put up owls, pictures of owls or fake owls, because owls eat pigeons. And so when the pigeons see the owl, he's terrified. He ain't coming near. So you don't have to worry about them pooping all over the place because he ain't coming near there. So by understanding nature, you understand this. So if I got a pigeon problem, I can't go shoot up all the pigeons. So I just put some owls out there or pictures of owls. Okay, so again, by understanding the nature symptomatically, I know how to deal with them. And this is by studying nature. So I understand that it's a nocturnal creature. It hunts at night. You know, it lets me know a little bit about that. And each of the birds have their own characteristics. Like the swallow, you have a bird that only eats in the air while he's flying. And he eats insects. He eats the insects that's pestful to you. He eats mosquitoes, bugs, things of that nature. And so they said, oh, this is a good bird. So we're going to write, when we write something good, we're going to put this bird here. Then we got another one, the sparrow, that eats other birds' eggs. He steals other birds' nests. He's always around something dead, eating it. So they say, oh, this is a bad bird. So if we have something that's not good, we put a little sparrow there. So see, but they studied nature. So they understood. They got one bird that's really helpful to human beings and all kinds, and one bird is a pest. And so if they had something that wasn't good, they put the little sparrow there, and you know, okay, whatever this word is, it ain't good. If you got the little bin bird, if you got the swallow bird there, whatever this word is, it represents something good, something large, something dynamic. So you see how helpful the Medu Netcher is. And they don't want you to learn this language because it will keep you in their paradigm. Right now, we're in a suicidal paradigm. We're practicing somebody else's culture. When we get dressed, we put on a European gown or we put on a suit with a hangman's tie or a bow tie. That's like gay to me. No, that's not our culture. You come in with a robe, or you come in with a galabia. You come in with something to represent your culture, and usually it's loose fitting. Look at all this tight fitting clothes these days. No, you want something loose that flows, that helps you move, and that's the type of clothes we wore. That was cultural. So we got to get back to our culture. Culture is your own weapon. Dr. Clark taught me you defeat your enemy's culture by practicing your own. So instead of just bad mouthing his culture or trying to downplay it, no, you just practice your own. Now, anybody who knows Utibus, you know you probably never seen me without African clothes on. If you see me in the last 50 years, you've probably never seen me. Maybe you might have seen me working out and I have a workout outfit on or something. But other than that, you've never seen me without African clothes because I'm a cultural custodian. Culture is your medicine. So when you see me, I represent your ancestors. I represent you. I'm trying to represent the best of you. And so again, I just want to push the Medu Netcher is 11. Now on February the 19th, we're taking the group to Egypt. So if you want to know how to get to Egypt, you can contact the temple here, and they'll give you a flyer on that information. It's and we have a 10-day trip to Egypt, and we do it 2 or 3 times a year. So we have one in February, and we have again in April, and then we have one towards the latter part of the year. And we go to a couple of other countries too. We go to Brazil. We take you to Europe. So we have these trips. But right now, I want to push on November the 7th. February the 7th, which is only a couple of weeks from now. We're having a really dynamic conference. Actually, it's a master class. And this is it. I don't know. Do you have this flyer? So this is a master class we have on February the 7th. And it'll be held at the Dwyer Community Center on 123rd Street in Harlem. And it's about defining our culture, defining us as warriors. Let me explain. A warrior is only relevant because he protects what he loves. He protects what he loves. So if I give you a formula, we're all visitors here. We all are part of the Netcher. We come from the Netcher and we return to the Netcher. We come here on earth to learn, to study, to share, and to love. And anything that you love, you should be able to protect. So that's why the warrior is right there at the very beginning. You protect yourself first. Then you protect your family, your friends, your neighborhood. You're responsible for neighborhood watch, not somebody else. You're responsible for protecting your family. You're responsible for protecting your people. So that's a warrior's job, to protect all that he loves. Other than that, somebody out there is just a mercenary. That's just a hired hand. And he's protecting anybody who pays him. So that's why police are just a hired hand. And the police is there to protect private property. I know you think they're there to protect you. No, they're there to protect private property of the elite, the businesses. The original police and patrol were to catch runaway slaves. So you went from, to patrolling the roads from trying to capture black people. And so you wonder why they still beating black people. That was their job from the very beginning. That was part of their job description. Okay. So, and if the Brotherhood of Police is a fraternity. And that fraternity was started originally to capture black people and to protect the wealth of the wealthy, the property of the wealthy. And it's still today something very similar, is to protect the property of the wealthy people, not your private rights. Your job is to protect you. You need your people to protect you. That's why the Black Panther Party, when it was developed in the late 60s and 70s, became the most dangerous group in America because they used to patrol the police to read you your rights, to make sure brothers didn't fall down the steps before they got to the police station. We seem to be got the best balance in the world, but seem like we could never make it to the police station without falling down the steps and getting bruised up. Okay, so they would go and read a person when the police arrest them. They would read them their rights, and they would follow them to the police station to make sure that person didn't get harmed before they got to jail. And then they started a free breakfast program. They started helping old ladies shop. That made them the most dangerous group in America, teaching young kids preschool. All we would see was them carrying guns, and they stressed that. Well, the First Amendment says you have the right to bear arms. Well, actually, the first one is the right to speak. The Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. So the First Amendment, you have the right to defend yourself verbally. If that don't work, now you can bear arms. So first you try to talk about it. Secondly, that's just those are the First and Second Amendments, okay, to the Constitution. Right. But that's not for black people, because when they wrote this, black people were enslaved in America.
Right.
So we have to understand those constitutional rights. We had to have an amendment to the Constitution in order for us to have that. We're the only people that have to have an amendment to be a citizen. So Malcolm used to tell us we're second-class citizens. And so it's time, when we have this master workshop on the 7th, we're talking about taking energy into our own hands. What do we need to do? You see, you can no longer have a Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, a High 80, a Rosewood today, because our minds have been enslaved. So we need a different strategy. The Western world has a 24 hour, 7 days a week think tank. We got a think tank to work on the weekends, spare time, and in the summer. So that equals more slavery. Okay, that's not a liberation for freedom. So we need to talk about what kind of plan do we have as African people for the future. You see, African is making a move. 5 to 7 of the greatest and most influential and the fastest growing countries in the world are all in Africa. You can see what Brother Torre is doing in Burkina Faso. You can see what's happening with the Sahel countries. You can see what's happening in Ghana. You see what's happening in Kenya. We're beginning to take control of our resources. And one of the first things you got to be able to do, y'all, is educate your own children. Whoever controls the minds of our children controls our future. So yes, I suggest you get our flashcards and you start teaching your babies the Medu Netcher. Even if you don't want to know it, teach the next generation so they have a hotline to the ancestors. Because some of us are lost and don't want to be found. So teach it to you. And you got to be in control of your own educational system. Whoever controls the minds of our children controls our future. Right now, we're trying to make the public schools
don't want to be found. They don't want to be found. That's right. That's right.
We are responsible for educating our children. And the school is secondary, not first. And so we have to go back to that. I want to joggle your memory between after 1865 up until about 1920, Black people had created over 10,000 educational institutions in America. No group of people on the planet Earth developed more schools and educational systems and businesses than Black people during that time period. And let me explain. One of the reasons why we had to do it to survive, because of Europeans didn't allow us in theirs. So we couldn't go to their schools. We made our own schools. We couldn't go to their universities and colleges. So we made our own. We couldn't go to their stores and get good products. So we made our own and developed our own. So that's why Dr. Jeffries tells us that you have, at the top, you have governance, then you have economics, and then you have culture. That's the pyramid. The governance, economics, and culture. When you control those three, you got autonomy. Right now, there is no city in America where Black people control the economics, the governance, the economics, and the culture. And you will find there are some all-Black towns. I just saw it the other day where there's this all-Black town in I don't know if it was Mississippi or Arkansas, but they controlled the governance. But it was a copy of the European government. They controlled the economics, but the economics was a copy of Black capitalism. They controlled the culture, but it wasn't an African culture. So you see what happens? So that means that even if you're left by yourself with the education you got right now, you will enslave yourself. That's why the Medu Netcher and stuff like that is so powerful, because it has a universal paradigm based upon nature. Teaches you how to survive in nature, how to flourish in nature, how to
enslave yourself.
And defend yourself. You know, if you start talking about defend yourself, people get scared right away. You in the church talking about, we got to defend ourselves. They'll put you out of the church. How dare you talk like that? Jesus is going to take care of everything. Either Jesus or Muhammad. Religion is one of our problems in the world. Adopting somebody else's religion, which is somebody else's cultural paradigm, which is usually an enemy of African culture. If your spiritual system is not
all the drugs we've ever taken.
They do that. It's there to control your mind. The Medu Netcher is trying to free your mind. Right. You know. So I know people are like, come on, Infodisi, nobody wants to learn no hieroglyphics these days. Yeah, so you'll stay in the box that you're in because your paradigm doesn't expand. Your dimension doesn't expand. Your relationship to nature doesn't expand. Carter G. Woodson wrote in 1931, a book called The Miseducation of the Negro. He said, our most educated Black people, quote, in this system will be our new enslavers. So I want you to look at this. Those people who are here in the New York City area, almost every political office in New York City, there's a black face there. And we're in the worst shape we've ever been in. Poverty is at an all-time high. Unemployment at an all-time high. But we got black faces in every position because the system is systemically racist. The system is systemically broke. And you can't fix it. You need to scrap it and start a new one based upon ma'at, truth, justice, righteous, harmonious balance. You notice the Westerners stole everything but ma'at. The Greeks sat at the Africans' feet in Kemet and learned everything. Solon, Socrates, Aristotle, they tell you. The Greeks learned everything dealing with civilization from the Kemet.
They sure did.
Everything. But they didn't steal ma'at. And the Romans took everything from the Greeks and the Africans. Even gods is based upon African gods. But they didn't. Ma'at was outside of their reach. So therefore, there's no truth, justice, righteous, harmonious balance, or whatever. Even when we're writing the Medu Netcher, everything has to be symmetrical, has to be within a little box. So even our writing system was symmetrical. Everything had to be in harmony. And so this is why I teach the Medu Netcher. I stress the Medu Netcher. So I want people, we got to get back to our culture. Your culture is your medicine. We used to be the most long-lived of all people. You look at all the ancient scripts. The black man was the most long-lived of all people. Now black men in America have the shortest lifespan. So how did we went from the longest to the shortest? Of course, we're living in somebody else's paradigm. We're living in somebody else's culture. See, you can be in America and not of America. That's the way I look at myself. I'm not an American. I live in America. I'm still an African. I live in America. I'm an African in America. You got to keep it a Kemetu spiritual system, not a religion, a spiritual system, which frees me from being in a box. The universe is mine. The whole planet is mine. I embrace all of Africa. I don't embrace just that one little country, Tanzania, that my parent come from. I embrace the whole continent. So that's the trick. They want to put you in a little box. Get out of that box, free yourself, embrace the land, learn to love, and then learn to protect all that you love. Learn to give your gift. Let me finish that formula. We all come from Netcher. We're here to learn, to listen, to share, to love, and then protect all that you love. And then develop your gift and give it to the world. And let me leave you out with this formula. And this is for anybody who's an inventor, a creator, a writer, or protector. This is the sequence that you follow. First, whatever you invent or create, you should benefit from it first as the creator. Second, your family should benefit from it. Thirdly, your people should benefit from it. Fourthly, your community benefits. And then it goes out to the world. Unfortunately, because we've been miseducated, we invent stuff. Sometimes we don't even benefit from it, and it goes straight to the world, and your people, your family, your community don't benefit at all, even though you're the genius behind it. That's because you got the wrong cultural paradigm. I'm going to say it one more time, because I know it shot past some people. Whatever you invent, if you have a book, if you have created, if you're an inventor and you create something, or you have an idea that's being developed that's going to do good to people, to humanity, first you should benefit from it. Let me just give an example. Garrett Morgan invented the gas mask and the traffic light. The traffic light is all around the world. Garrett Morgan got paid one time $50,000. That was gone in a couple of years, and he had nothing else. General Electric bought it, split it off into 1,000 different multi-conglomerate million-dollar corporations. He never got a penny. His family never got another penny. Black people never benefited from it. And the black neighborhood in which he came from never. That's an example. when George Washington Carver invented 500 inventions just from a peanut. He didn't even want no money. He said, no, I'm just doing this for society. Ford offered him $1 million a year because he created the assembly line for Ford Motor Company. They were pumping out like 5 cars in a month, you know, and George Washington Carver said, listen, if you follow this system, you'll be able to pump out like 20 cars a week, you know, and in a month you got 100 cars instead of 5. He followed that, became a multimillionaire. He offered George Washington Carver $1 million. Carver said, no, I don't want any money. No, no money. I'm just, you should benefit. He was working at Tuskegee Institute. Give the money to Tuskegee Institute. Have the $1 million go towards scholarships for Black children so they could be as genius like you are. You see, because he was in the wrong paradigm, even though he was a genius, Europeans benefit from his geniality more than Black people. We got bragging rights, that's about it, but bragging rights don't feed your family. So I stopped doing those lectures on Black History Month of all the inventions of Black people, because we're not benefiting from that. We got bragging rights, that's all. Yeah, we invented the lawnmower. Yeah, we invented the ironing board. Yes, we invented, but we didn't personally benefit. If we did, we got underpaid. Second of all, Black people didn't benefit. We didn't develop a corporation around it, an institute around it, so we can hire our family and our friends and the people in our community. You see, I said self, family, people, and community. And community could be, it doesn't have to just be African people. You might have Hispanics. You got all types of people who live in your community. If they're working in the community, yes, I want to empower that community. I don't care what their ethnic group is. But first, I want to take care of self, my family, and my people. Then community. Then it goes out to the world. And I could do that on almost every invention we had. We either didn't get paid or got underpaid. And then second of all, we didn't empower our family. Third of all, we didn't empower Black people. We didn't empower the community where I was living when I developed my invention. It just went straight out to the world. And so the world takes advantage of it. And people in control of the world is the Western world right now. And so therefore, all we got is bragging rights. So when you look at Black History Month, that's what's really happening. I don't want to be a downer on y'all, but I'm a culture custodian. I'm here to tell you the truth. So for Black History Month, you got bragging rights, but you're not benefiting from the bragging rights. I want more than just bragging rights. You benefit, your family benefits, your people benefits, then your neighborhood benefits. Then it goes to the world. Charles Drew invented the blood plasma, the blood bank. Red Cross took it over. They made millions of dollars. Yes, they saved millions of lives, but he even died because he couldn't get blood in a segregated hospital. And he invented the system to save people's lives with the blood. I'm trying to show you, this gets deep. You know, if you start studying all these people who did these inventions and you look at their lives, you say, wow, they didn't even benefit that much from it. Not unless their family or Black people. So think about that. When you're a cultural custodian, when you understand that culture is your medicine, you take care of self, then you take care of family, you take care of your people, then you take care of your neighborhood or your community. Then it goes to the world. I don't have a problem with your invention, the world benefit from it, but there's an order that it goes to. And then you uplift your people. You want more than just bragging rights. And when you're just pouting all this stuff in Black History Month, that's all it is just bragging rights. Y'all haven't benefited. Most of the young children don't even know about it. Their chest is not even puffed up. They have no idea. And then they say, wow, he just gave this stuff away and we never benefited from it. Think about it, people. I'm going back start out by educating your own people. One of the languages you should learn is the Medu Netcher. I know you're saying, oh, they don't speak it today. But every African language could almost trace its roots back to the Medu Netcher. If you speak Wolof in South West Africa, if you speak Ga, a tree, Shanti tree, most of the words there are Medu Netcher words from ancient Kemet. If you speak Swahili in Eastern Africa, or you speak Amharic in Ethiopia, all of these languages can be pinpointed back to the Medu Netcher. It has its foundation. It's an African language, and therefore expressing an African culture based upon nature. And if you destroy nature, you destroy life on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
My sister, you have any specific questions you want to ask or anything? Are there any questions from the? You benefit first. Yes, you should benefit first from everything, and then your family, then your friends,
Well, one
and your
question
people.
is, can you hear me?
Like, yes. Any other specific questions? Does the audience have any questions that they want about the Medu Netcher or my master workshop? It's me and Brother James Small. So Brother James Small and myself will be teaching this master class on February the 7th. Please come out. And again, remember, I have a trip to Africa, to Egypt, to Kemet in February the 19th, and then again in April. Does anybody from the Shrine of Sekhmet have any questions for me? Or any of your audience? Put it in the chat.
Baba, can you take us out?
Take us out for the evening?
Nope.
No questions?
No questions.
Okay. I want to say Shem Em Hotep, Ankh Uja Seneb Neb.
Yes, because they can't hear me. There are no questions.
It's been a pleasure. Again, I don't know if you're familiar with Brother Rich, but I'll be on Brother Rich's show on Monday night, me and Brother James Small, talking about some of the things we talked about here today, but we'll be more profoundly talking about what's going to happen for our master class on February the 7th. So come out if you want leadership so we know what we're going to be doing for the future. Everybody's organizing. We have to organize to control ourselves. Nobody's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. So I want to say, Dua Netcher, it's been a pleasure.